going to start off by saying I'm already feeling a little bit embarrassed. Peter told me everyone was dressing in book colors tonight, and the only one. I'm super happy to be here tonight with all these amazing speakers, and thank you, Peter, for putting all this together. I will tell you, though, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about being here because I've had a lot of change happen in my life in the last few years, like a lot. And it's something that I know a lot of people have talked about up here today. But for me, I've had change that that has happened to me. But lately, I've started going to a point where I am instigating change on myself as a bit of a transition. That's my shift. And I've done it by asking 3 midlife questions of myself. What am I avoiding? What dreams am I putting off for someday? And on my deathbed, what am I going to deeply regret not doing in my one precious life? Why am I asking these questions of myself? Well, sometimes shift happens. I had a tectonic shift for me in my life 3 years ago. I turned 50. I left the podcasting company that I co-founded, and I became an empty nester, all at the same time. So I lost my youth, I lost my career identity, I lost my parenting identity. It was not pretty. My wife, Debbie, who is here today during this period, described me with 2 words, unmoored and floundering. Neither are endearing, both accurate. Back when I was at this podcasting company, our job was to make amazing shows that listeners would really love. And we had this secret to our success. It was a value called creative bravery. And creative bravery, like a creatively brave show, has a really inspiring goal or a journey that you're going to go on. And there's obstacles and challenges that are hard to overcome. But most importantly, for me, is that the protagonist always transforms by the end of the show. And one day in my floundering period, I asked myself, I wonder what it would look like if I decided to produce my life the same way we produce creatively brave shows at the podcasting company. So maybe instead of having a predictable and boring life, I could design it intentionally with the goal of having me transform at the end. So my friend Jeff and I started this project. It's an email newsletter on Substack called the Midlife Field Guide. And basically what we do is we do experiments on our own lives in public to try and figure out midlife. And all of the experiments are generated by those 3 questions. So I want to tell you about 3 of the relatively brave experiments I have done, and the mindset shifts that they have provided for me so far. So experiment number 1 is the one around, like, on your deathbed, what are you going to regret never doing in your life? And you're going to be so disappointed when I tell you what I chose. It's going to sound so ridiculous, but it's actually more meaningful than you think. When I talk about all the change that I went through, some of it has been physical. This is my first ever beard. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. I know it's ridiculous, but I never thought I could grow a beard. I thought it would just come out in patches. I thought I would look like a diseased skunk or something, like a little patch here. And then I thought to myself, am I really gonna go through my entire life and never try and grow a beard to see if I could do it? Am I gonna be like 1 foot in the grave, being like, I wonder what I would look like with a beard? And so I decided to grow it, and this is it. And thank you. And when you make change like this, I gotta tell you, it's interesting because you get a lot of feedback about your face directly to your face. And a bit of a spoiler alert, most of it not very nice. I'm guessing many of you may be thinking this right now, but the general feedback is it makes me look old. Like really old. I've had this feedback so many times. This summer, I had 2 children, come up to me and say, hey, you know Harry Potter? You look like Dumbledore, except stupid. Fairly hurtful. For reference, if you're not aware, Dumbledore is 115 years old. So shift number 1, here's the weird thing. Despite all this negative feedback about it making me look old, I've decided to keep it. Thank you. That's very nice, thank you. That is the most support the beard's ever got. I feel like I'm kind of living some unlived version of myself that has come out with this beard. I feel like a bit of a brave badass, which sounds ridiculous, but I also feel like I am finally not caring what other people think. And I feel like I am finally not pressuring myself to become some clean-shaven clone of Lego businessman, which feels really good. So I'm keeping the beard. That's shift number 1. Experiment number 2, what am I avoiding? I have been avoiding some health things, and one of them is running. I have always hated running. I'm like a professional running hater. I was asthmatic as a kid, so all my running experiences were traumatic. And if you were a show producer dealing with somebody like me, what would you do? You'd be like, you better start running, because that's going to be really entertaining. So I started running, and part of it was for health, and part of it is because my wife, Debbie, is an avid runner, and we're empty nesters. And I wanted to see if we could come up with a new shared activity to do together as a couple. It started off in a very embarrassing way with the worst run ever. I did 1 block. And I posted it on Strava. It was the most humiliating Strava post ever. But then I did 2 blocks, and a little while later, I made it up to 5K. And over a summer of running, very recently, Debbie and I ran in the East Side 10K, my first ever running race. Thank you. This is all very affirming tonight. This is wonderful, thank you. So how did it go? Not good. I was so slow. I'll tell you how slow I was. I was passed by so many people. This is 100% true. I was passed by 2 grown men dressed up as cobs of corn. I was creamed by corn in a running race. And it was humiliating. But shift number 2, I did it. I ran the 10K and I finished the race. I actually did something that I didn't think I was capable of doing at this stage of my life. So it's kind of opened my mind as to what's possible. Even better, I had a really unique and memorable experience doing the race. And the best part was doing it with Debbie. It's opened up this thing where we can, now I'm very excited to figure out what are the other new things that we can try and do together as a couple. So shift number 3 is the third experiment, and is what are the dreams that I've been putting off for some day? I used to do a lot of improv comedy in university. And when I was young, I actually had a dream that I was like, I kind of want to be a comedian. And I was working in Toronto at CTV early in my career, and I got a meeting with the head of the entire network. And he told me in that meeting, you're never going to be funny. And I said, why? And he's like, because you don't have a traumatic childhood. And that was a legit answer. I was like, you're never going to be funny because you don't have a traumatic childhood. And it was like my dream just kind of was like just gone that day. And I believed that guy for decades. And then, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, a friend of mine sent me a link to a stand-up comedy course here in Vancouver. And so as a midlife experiment, I signed up for it. So did my 23-year-old daughter. And a few weeks ago, we both did a 5-minute set in front of a live audience. It was terrifying. Shift number 3, it was amazing. Like, it was so liberating and empowering to do this. The TV executive was totally wrong the whole time. And I realized that I don't need to do comedy as a career anymore, but I would actually really like to do more of it just for fun because I love it. But this shift is actually not really about me and my return to comedy. It's actually about my daughter. She crushed it. Like, she absolutely crushed it. She was so funny. And I had one of the most magical parenting experiences of my life at a time when I thought that magical parenting experiences were over for me. Also opened up a big door around what is possible at this stage of life. So far, acting like a creatively brave producer has made my life measurably better. The humiliations, they've all made for good stories. But I'm learning kind of what works for me rather than what society wants from me. And to me, midlife is a time for adventure and self-discovery. And I am even more committed now to kind of run towards the unknown and to run towards the uncomfortable, even if I get passed by people dressed as cobs of corn while I'm doing it. So I would invite all of you to look in the mirror and ask yourself the same 3 questions. What am I avoiding? What dreams am I putting off for someday? And on my deathbed, what are the things I'm going to really regret never doing in my one precious life? And when you find some answers, be brave and start experimenting on your own life, because life is better when shift happens. Thank you.